Spoiler warning. The following video contains spoilers for the board game Role Player Adventures. And some whining, but mostly spoilers. Thank you. Hey there folks, welcome to day 31 of my year-long adventure into the realm of solo board games. You're joining me for a campaign through Role Player Adventures, so this is going to be fairly spoilery. Do not watch this video if you don't want to be spoiled onto the adventure. We're on adventure 3. We're currently doing the campaign. We'll see how well it goes. We are, again, if you don't want spoilers, stop now. Just click like on the video. Thank you very much. And then just go do something else. Go watch, I don't know, some other gaming stream. But we are in the middle of Role Play Adventures. We're on adventure number 3. We have just rescued Esther from some trolls. We actually made some friends with the trolls. We're playing a character by the name of Ivory Veritas. I'm playing it as fairly neutral, like not trying to pick sides yet, and as a result, I have 1 favor with the Starlit Door and 0 with the other two factions. We have a bunch of experience points that I spent, so they should not be here. Sorry. Last time I had 10 extra XP, so what I did is I spent 1 on health, and then I spent 3 XP to mark 3 off of the mastery tracks off. That allowed me to increase my Constitution to 2, Wisdom to 2, and then Strength. I gave myself a Strength finally, so I can get a red dice if I need it. I also picked up a few items. I picked up Pickpocket in the market. Because of my intelligence, I was able to get it for 5 instead of 8. That's what this little negative int here means. And as what it allows you to do is allows you to flip over 2 blue dice. Not just 1, but 2. And so that can be really helpful. And then I also added Levitate, which adds a blue dice. So in addition to everything else, now I can add a blue dice, I can flip it, and I've got things in here to help me change the value of it by 1, and I can even re-roll it if needed be. So pretty good stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to really work with. Intelligence should not be any blues that I cannot get at this point, but we'll see where we go. Right now we're in the graveyard, and we've been instructed to put our party marker there, not our Marty Parker. That's something else altogether. And I'm just going to grab my coffee from over here, carefully bring it around, keeping it off the game table so I don't accidentally spill it all over all of this stuff, and sit it over to my computer, which will be much more expensive to replace. Okay, so your adventure begins. While the rest of your regiment headed north to battle, you were sent to fetch the head of a giant troll for King Terran. After your return to the capital city of Sabek, Commander Zalek ordered you into Undercity to deal with an outbreak of vampirism. Undercity, a maze of catacombs and old sewer tunnels under the capital, is populated with criminals, outcasts, rebels, and the destitute. The locals have a rather low opinion of the King's Guard, and you suspect that they won't hesitate to infect you if given the chance. You follow Zalek through a graveyard to the royal mausoleum. He unlocks the gate and you enter. Down 3 flights of stairs, Zalek unlocks another gate and stands aside. Beyond lies a dark tunnel of one of many entrances to this maze of underground passages. Twisty and all alike. I'm just adding that part. The tunnels are cold and damp, smelling of rot and pyre smoke. Place your party marker at location A and read entry A. Graveyard. If there's no XP at this location, go to A1. Otherwise, collect the XP. We've got our first XP. And continue reading. Your mission is simple, but not pleasant, says Zalek. Vampires are powerful Dragul warriors. There is no cure for a vampire's bite. Kill the vampire and all of the infected that you meet. Bring me proof that the creature is dead. You will know the infected by their cold gray eyes, long fangs, and the bite marks on their necks. Zalek motions for you to pass him, so you step through the gate. The tunnel branches after Azimov's bones. 1 branch will take you to the Thieves Guild. Another will take you to the Ossuary of the Old Order. The third takes you to the cremation pit. Stay alert. The vampire could be heading anywhere. Zalek hands you a lantern, instructing you to use it to search carefully wherever you go. Return here when your mission is complete, says Zalek. He then locks the iron gate behind you. Reveal Discovery Card 81. It's a lantern. If your king favor is 2 or higher, which it's not, we can now use an item or move to another location. So we're going to go ahead and use the lantern here. We're going to use A81. You hold the lantern up to Zalek's face and the bright light makes him squint. Yes, he says, very clever. Now make sure you use it everywhere else in Undercity. Well. All right, so we're off to Azima's Bones. I think that's the first place to go. Which is D. There's no XP at this location. D1. Otherwise, collect the XP from this location and continue recording. Continue reading, sorry. You enter a wide pillared hall with vaulted ceilings built entirely from the bones of Azima the Benevolent, Queen of Dragons and Mother of this world. It was Azima's magic that first drew the many planes and their peoples to Ulos. It was then that she forged the armaments of the immortal knight, defender of Nalos, who was the first being to cross into Ulos from another plane. These bones were placed here to honor Azima so that any visit to the ancient dead would begin with tribute to her. Azima's scales have been set in patterns along her bones. Your lantern lights reflects back at you in a brilliant prism of rainbows, as if Azima herself were smiling upon you. As you look in awe at the fear at the gigantic skeleton, your eye catches the quick movements of a hooded figure darting about between columns made from ribs and claws. Someone is attempting to approach you unseen. You can either douse your lantern and wait for their approach, Dex Con, or attack quickly to catch them off guard. And so we're going to go ahead and try to douse the lantern. We'll give it a try. You douse your lantern and wait quietly in the darkness, listening carefully any sound the hooded figure might make. Skill check, Concealment 1. And we've done the skill check before. All right, we need black, green, and a black or green. So we're going to do black, green, green. And our dice limit on this is 4. So first we're going to pull out 2 greens and a black. And then we get 1 more dice. All right, so first things first is that we have the 5, so that's good. Actually use our enchanter skill here. Turn this. No, we don't want to do that quite yet. We need to get that 3 to be something else. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got that we can use to help out. Got a lot in here. That's the thing. So we can use our wand. Like that's 1. Now we got a 2. We should have a flip the green. Oh, you know what I should have done? I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back. This was a 1. We should have done it this way. And this... No, that's still not going to make a difference. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So yeah, wand makes us a 2. We use our enchanter skill to add the 2 to the 1 to make it a 3. We get our first XP there, and now it's just a matter of flipping this. 3 cards to flip that. How do we do that? So we do that, and that. Oh no, we just do this. I'm sorry. I'm being an idiot. We just do that. Well, that allows us to flip a green dice. We can either reroll or flip. We'll flip. We got our 2. Got another XP, and we've successfully passed this check. D4. To most ears, there would be nothing to hear in the dark hall, but yours pick out the shallow breath and heartbeat of your target, enabling you to seize the hooded figure from behind. Relighting your lantern and pulling back the figure's hood, you discover the cat-like face of a Bastia woman, her forehead painted with the eye of the starlit door. Before you can say a word, her blade is in her hand. Surprised Maula. Combat. Okay, so what's interesting here is that the only faction we actually have any favor with right now is the Starlit Door, so I'm a little surprised that we're fighting this person. But first, and because we're not getting a chance to... So that gets there. Also, I have to check to see if after a skill check, if I'm supposed to return discarded cards. Because I know you're not supposed to return spent cards. Those are spent until you rest. Yeah, return all discards to your space. Okay. So I have the runic necklace back, I just don't have the wand anymore. So we're looking for Mauli, and that is Maula, and that's 41. And they're surprised. So we'll put this right over here because I think that's probably the best place for it. And we'll need a round tracker. During the skill check or the first round of combat, all stamina spent to add dice to the dice pool is returned to the supply instead. So we're not going to get fatigued from this. We can spend 2 wisdom to give us 2 white die. We unfortunately can't spend any more green. And then we don't have any black to spend either. Or blue. No, we need blue. And then we're going to get 1 more dice at random. And now we can roll. Okay. So I don't think anything here matches up with what I need. I can use my spell book to adjust this to a 5. So that's good. And that's 1 card spent so far. The Jade Gauntlet allows me to turn any colored die into a 6. However, I need a green dice first before I can do that. I can also try to flip that blue, maybe? What am I doing here? All right, let me run through this again. I've used 1 so far. I can use Pickpocket as 2 to make this a 2. What I need is a green. I need a way to make a green, and right now I don't have any way to make a green. I can make a 3 or 4 a green. Yeah, I think I see how I'm going to do it. I'm going to end up using my bonus play, but this will accomplish all of it. So this 4 is now a green. I will... Oh, and I was supposed to flip that. Nope. Nope, I did that on the previous turn. We've not rested yet. I can't do that. But... sorry, I just need to figure out how I'm doing this. So I can add a dice. I don't think that's going to make any difference, though. But if I do that... Yeah, I can do the Grim Taker for 3. I can add a green dice specifically. And I can make it a 6 thanks to the Jade Gauntlet. That's 4. And now, since I don't have any other thing that I can do, I could try to do Gather Power as the bonus play, and that would allow me to get... That would allow me to get one more dice, and maybe it'll come up the right color, but probably not. And I think at this point I go ahead and I take my lumps. I'm not going to be able to do anything with those. We still have our bonus play left. And we get 2 gold for our troubles. We do take 2 stamina, and I am trying to use the smaller ones this time. We now go to round 2. We lose 1 more. These go back in here. Oh, sorry, those don't go back in here. Why did I put those back in here? Sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and try to match this up as best I can. There we go. We have 1 more to go. We got 4 dice. I'm just pulling 4 dice at random. No whites. That's going to be problematic. I mean, I can do that, but if I don't have any way to turn that into a white... that is specifically white. Yeah, I kind of need a white dice, so we're going to go ahead and pull some... Alright, we're going to see what we can do here. We'll start with Gather Power as our first card. And that's just simply pull a dice out, and we're going to hope it's the right color. It's not, but we got a 5. We might lose this one. Because I really don't have any way to get this white out. I can use gray matter. It's still not the right color. Doesn't really matter what I roll. I mean, I can make a 4 a white, but then I can't raise it. That's the problem. All right. Not doing great. We're going to take 1 more round of damage. We're going to get 4 stamina total. We'll go ahead and try to use these big dice as 5s from now on. So right now we're at 10 damage. And we'll go 1 more round. I have nothing in the tank at this point. I need a white. I just need 1 white dice. And then I can, there we go. Then I can try to do things with it. Except I can't. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to succeed on this one. I ran out of ways that I can manipulate white dice. All right, so I'm going to take the loss here. I'm going to take 4 more damage. That blows. I thought I was looking really good after the first round. But I guess not. Wait, well, yeah, I mean, I could have, but I don't think that really would make any sense at this point. She escapes you, D7. That's really irritating. The Bastia woman is too quick for you. She evades your strike, strikes and flees down the brickwork tunnel towards the Thieves Guild. You hear the sound of a metal coin bouncing on the stone floor behind you. Searching the area, you find a lead medallion. Reveal discovery card 78. Lead medallion. Okay, so D7, we can now use an item or rest. We will rest first. That was brutal. Alright, so first we're going to spend some XP. We're going to spend 3 XP. We get to restore 13 fatigue. I'll go back to the supply, and we'll bring everything else up to maximum. I think what hurts is that I really feel like I should have been able to do that one. But it was just those 2 whites were just difficult to handle. And I guess that's meant to represent the fact that she is craftier. Alright. Still have 1 left over. That's okay. We're going to return the discards. We're going to return the spent item. We flip our card over. These can all go away. These can go away. This can go away. And this can go away. Surprised. That was a bummer. I tend to shut down a little bit after I have a crushing defeat like that, and I need to remember that I'm on camera and I'm talking to you, and you're probably like waiting to hear me say things like, "Wow, that was humiliating," and that was humiliating. All right, I've rested now, and now I can use an item if I want. I can also, I could also move to a new location. I am going to use an item. I'm going to use the lantern first. You scour the room with your lantern. It reflects light beautifully off Azima's scales. You feel as if her spirit watches you over in the place. According to myth, her final act was to order the gate at Brazoor Wall closed, not to be reopened for 3,000 years, when she promised to return and bless the faithful. 3,000 years have passed, and the anniversary of Azima's death approaches. In a place like this, with rainbow beams of light reflecting in every direction, you can almost believe that the myth of Azima's return is real. We're going to go ahead and try to use the 2 things together, 78, 81. Now that's going to actually require a stamina be added to the fatigue. You study the lead medallion closely by lantern light. In front, its front shows the emblem of a moth and a dagger. On the reverse, several sets of initials have been engraved by different hands. You may take a moment to add your own initials to the other. Return 1 stamina from your fatigue box to the supply. Use another item or move to another location. So at this point we have to move to another location. I guess we'll move to the Ossuary. I feel like that's our best bet. So first we're going to end up into an encounter. We're going to encounter 4. So let's close this for a moment. We're looking for 3, 4. If you have the title Duntam's Return, go to Adventure 3-6 instead. Now, I believe that there was another encounter in the last adventure that would have allowed us to rescue somebody named Duntan. A man in the uniform of a Sabak city worker approaches you with the brim of his hat pulled down over his face. Perhaps he is a sewage maintenance employee carrying out his duties. The man speaks in a raspy voice. "Put the lantern down so we can talk, friend. The light is too strong for my eyes." You lower your lantern, but as the man draws near, you notice his odd movements. It's almost as if his knees bend backwards with each step, and his jacket conceals several extra limbs. You notice, too, the odd elongated shape of his head and his bulbous, protruding eyes. You ask him to state his business in Undercity. Just doing my job, he says. Keeping things clean. Or something. You can call his bluff and see what happens, or you can raise your lantern and check for signs of vampirism. Let's call his bluff. You challenge the man's claim and raise your lantern to expose his face. He's an insectoid, a Dragul minion. He must have escaped from Kulbak prison and stolen some poor city worker's uniform. In his raspy voice, he says, "It's awful in Kulbak. Please, don't send me back. I'd rather you kill me here and now. I just want to get out of this cursed place and go back home again." You can see that he's not infected. All the same, he is an escaped prisoner and of war and a fugitive. You can either let him go, or you can draw your weapons and place him under arrest. I'm torn. I say we put him under arrest. I say we take him and I know this is probably playing a little inconsistently, but I feel like he's an escaped prisoner. He needs to go back to his prison. As you draw your weapons, the man tears off his jacket, releasing 4 arms, each one wielding an improvised blade. His black eyes shine with fear in your lantern light. "I'm never going back," he tells you. Insectoid. 31. All right. 31. We don't have any modifiers for this, so that's nice. All right. So we're going to add that there. We're going to need red from the looks of it, so that's 1. We're going to need white and 2 greens, which we can do. I think one thing that would behoove me is to get that wisdom up to another 1 more to 3, so that way I have the extra stamina to spend if I want to use that for manipulation. That, I think, is just any green dice, which is kind of cool. All right, so first up, we have the 4. That's going to go right in there. So we've got a red 3, and that's going to be the problem. But I think what I can do... Yeah, I'm going to get out of this one in the first round. Let's go ahead and get our gold for that. I need to make sure that I'm being consistent about if I'm taking it when I first do it or when I don't first do it. But I think what we want is we want our wand to make this a 3. We want to use our... runic necklace to make this a 6. We want to use resolute to make this a 3. That will fit there. And then we're going to use our special Grim Taker and just give ourselves another green dice of any color. Our green dice. There we go. That's it. We're done. I got an additional XP and an additional gold. And the insectoid is dead. I'm a horrible person. Some guy was just wanted to stay out of prison. I refuse to believe him. You slay the insectoid man and look over his corpse. The iron anklet he wears bears the mark of Kulbak prison. He's an escaped prisoner of war, all right, and he has met a soldier's end. Rest or move to the next location. So we're going to go ahead and rest. We're going to use 1 XP. We're going to roll a die. 3 of these go back. In addition, we get to bump these back up to their max. And I think that's one of the things that took me a little while to get used to, was the idea that, and we are resting. So there we go. Was the idea that these are going to go up independently of this, like these stats here. Like this basically represents exertion you're making in a particular area because you're trying to use that skill, but it's not a 1-to-1. Let's see. Insectoid. There we go. And we can now continue on to the Ossuary. I will say I'm not doing well in terms of getting XP in this one. Let's see, we don't want that, we want this. If there's no XP at this location, go to B1, otherwise take the XP and continue reading. The Ossuary of the Old Order houses the remains of the founders of Ulos, representatives from every corner of the Planiverse, united under Azima the Benevolent, long before Nalos divided itself from the Dragul. There must be thousands of founders here, buried here, their skulls and bones covering the surface of every wall, creating the sense that the whole eerie space was built not of earth and stone, but of the dead. You can use an item, rest, or move to another location. We're going to obviously use the lantern first. You search around the ossuary with your lantern and find a narrow passageway in a corner that leads you up some stairs to an Ancient Sepulcher. Reveal discovery card 30 and place 1 XP on it. And that means we're going to addition to the map. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of additions to the map here. There's a whole space on the bottom here that's just not used. Ancient Sepulcher. That's going to go there. We're going to place 1 XP on it. We're also going to go ahead and use the lead medallion, which means that we're going to lose an XP, lose a stamina, to do 7881. You study the lead medallion by the lantern light, and when you look up again, you see that the carved moth on the medallion is not the only one in the ossuary. Several bone moths flutter at the edge of your lantern's beam. Their white bodies are accented with the skull-shaped black markings on their wing. All right, so that is interesting, but that seems to be it. So we're going to head up to the Ancient Sepulcher. If you have any of the titles, and there's a bunch of titles here, we have none of them. If there's no XP at this location, F1, otherwise collect XP, and continue reading. You enter an Ancient Sepulcher and find a halfling man standing perfectly still and staring blankly at a decorated urn, as if he were in some kind of trance. The urn upon which he is transfixed is marked with runes that you cannot decipher. A low voice seems to come from every direction at once. The proper translation is, "Ashes of the eldest, sire of us all." Startled, you look around. The halfling did not move his lips, and there is no one else in the sepulcher. He was the first... I'm sorry if I'm saying the word sepulcher wrong. As far as I know, that's how it's pronounced, but who knows? It's probably pronounced David. Startled, you look around. The halfling did not move his lips. He is the first of our kind, burned alive by a jealous human, the voice continues. As it does so, a mist fills the sepulcher and slowly coalesces into an enormous bat-like finger in the center of the room. The creature introduces himself as Lord Yuvan Rokta. If you have the keyword library, F4, otherwise F2, you find that your arms and legs will not obey you. Lord Rokta has you frozen in place. He explains that he is here in Nolos to recover the ashes of the eldest, sire of all vampires. These ashes are missing from the urn. Those people who stole our treasure called themselves the Starlit Door. The vampire says to you with his mind, "Find them, kill them, bring me what is mine!" The vampire returns to mist as you gain control of your limbs. As you leave, you notice the dark, inky blood leaking from 2 punctures in the halfling's neck. Move to another location. That's about it. All right, so I guess what we're going to do is we're going to go this way to Azima's bones, which means that we'll go to D, and I think we can just skip from there. The hall is quiet now. Azina, the benevolent, uses rest in power and beauty. We can go down here. We're going to have to do an encounter first, and we'll do encounter 2. In a dark passageway, you encounter a young, well-dressed human noblewoman looking herself over in a hand mirror by torchlight. When you approach, she draws a veil over her face. "Let me pass," she says to you. "I am Karina, the daughter of Lady Amelia Duntham of the Royal Council. I was just on my way to meet with some of my friends, the children of the other Sabak nobles. You consider the young woman's request. Letting her pass uninspected could have dire consequences if she is infected. But Lady Amelia is a powerful figure in Sabak. Upsetting her daughter could be bad for your career as the king's daughter." So you have a choice here to insist on inspecting her or let her pass freely. Now, the thing is, she was inspecting herself in a hand mirror. You can't do that if you're a vampire, under traditional folklore. But we don't know what the rules are here. We don't know if the same rules apply. So maybe she is a vampire. But we are going to let her pass without... I think we're going to let her pass freely. I'm going to hope that the clue was there for me to pick up on, not to deceive me. We're going to let her pass freely. Con whiz. So that's a little disconcerting that it isn't a skill check. 323. You stand aside and allow the young woman to pass. As she does, you watch her movements carefully. If your draw ghoul is 1 or higher, blah, blah, blah. Observation. Observation 1. So we actually don't have anything too complicated here. We need white and green. So we're going to go ahead and use 1 of each. Actually, we might as well just go ahead and go all 4. No, we're going to use 2 because I've got some manipulative abilities there. So we'll do 2. We'll do 1 white, 1 green, and then we'll pull 2 more dice at random. Okay, so 3, 2, and then garbage, unfortunately. So what I can do is, first things first, is I can use my wand, and I can just simply make that higher by 1. And that gets me an XP. It's good because we're going to need to rest after this. Then, can I flip that white? Manipulate. I can flip the white to a 5 and get the other one. Now this last one I need to have as a white or a green, but I don't have any way to change the color of it yet. Gather power, and that's not going to do it. That's going to do it. So Grim Taker will let me add a white dice. Jane Gauntlet allows me to make it a 6. Bonus play, this is the first time I'm using bonus play, allows me to use the spell book to adjust it down by 1, and I've succeeded. These go back in. You notice something strange about her. Adventure 326. As she walks away, you notice that she is shivering. Though the tunnels of the Undercity are relatively warm, her body is growing cold. You also notice a spot of blood on her scarf. You stop her and her lantern light exposes her cold gray eyes, her sharp fangs, and the bite marks on her neck. Your mission is clear. There is no cure except death. But she is the daughter of Lady Amelia Duntham of the Royal Council. Were she to infect her mother, it could have a devastating effect on the kingdom. Then again, if it were discovered that you were responsible for her daughter's death, Lady Amelia would likely send you to the gallows. I think we have to strike her down. I don't think we have a choice in the matter. 325. You move to attack her, but she leaps back with a surprising agility. I wanted it to be Crete, she said, but I guess that you'll have to be my first bite. Infected human 28. So the problem here is that we haven't rested, which means the skill check's over, so this is going to flip over. Our discards come back to our hand, and I think we replenish... Sorry to have to keep looking up rules. I think we replenish the attributes, even though we don't do anything with the fatigue. No, we have to rest first for that. So this is going to be hard. Human. And infected. For each stamina a player spends while adding dice to their dice pool, you must also add one from the supply. That's good. That's awesome. We have 1 intelligence, 1 charisma, so we're going to have to take those, which means we're going to add 2 more as well. It's going to be a tough fight. Big ones. But we are going to get 1 blue and 1 purple. We get 2 more dice at random. That's not good. Five, 1, and 1. Oh, where do we start? Where do we start? Weak will be our first card. We'll make that a 2. Resolute will be our second card. We'll make this the purple. I will gather power. That'll be 3, and just simply pull out a dice and make it a 5, and hopefully it'll be a green or a black. These should all be in here as well. Sorry. One more. I think that's it. I think that's all I can do. The problem is none of these are the right color. I kind of need these to be the right color. So we're not going to succeed on this one. We're going to do 1 gold and 1 XP for what we have done. But we're going to lose a stamina. And we're going to move to the second round and lose 2 more stamina. And now we just simply have to pull 4 dice at random. And hope for the best. It's not going well. On the plus side, we've got a black dice. We've got 3 black dice. 1 of which is a 5. There we go. Done. That was rough. You enter 28. If you have the keyword smoke, Adventure 333. You give Lady Amelia Daughter the only known cure for vampirism. When she has breathed her last, you are left to dispose of her body. You could carry her up to Zalek and accept whatever consequences there might be for killing the daughter of a royal council member, or you could hide her body here. No one would ever know what became of her, and no one could ever blame you for her death. I think we have to take her to Zalek. I know that seems horrible. I know that seems like a bad idea. It probably is a bad idea. I'm not playing a good game right now. I'm not. I'm just not playing a good game. But I don't think that we can just simply leave her body here. I think we have to just be honest about what happened, that she had to be killed because she was a vampire. And I'm sure that isn't going to go perfectly well. That's going to go perfectly fine. You carry the young woman's body to Zalek and explain her fate. He naughtily grins but opens the gate to accept her body. You leave her with him in the mausoleum before returning to the Undercity. Reveal title card 16. That's way too honest. Lady Amelia's Sorrow. As you cleared Undercity of vampirism, you put a young noblewoman to rest. You returned her corpse to Zalek, who delivered the young girl to her mother. Rest and move to the next location on your path. Alright, so we're going to rest. We're going to use 3 of these. Which really seems like a lot of XP to be burning through. We're going to get 13 XP, or 13 stamina back. We're also going to get our bonus play back. That's 11. That's 12. That's all of it. We get all our stamina back. Go ahead and refresh these. Refresh all this. And head on to our next location. We were headed this way. So we'll go to the Thieves Guild, and we're on C. If you have the keyword stolen, if you have the keyword coin, you know what? I forgot to actually erase all of the keywords up there. So we'll just keep them. Well, no, let's just do this. We've just not had to write any yet, and that should be flipped because we've rested. There is a Thieves Guild. Oh, we get to collect the XP from here. Yay. And their headquarters is burrowed into the... there's a Thieves Guild here. Their headquarters burrowed into the cavern wall that has been carved into an unusual shape. At the entrance of your guild, you meet an elderly orc who submits to your inspection. No bite on me, he tells you, displaying his neck. When you see the infected, we send them to the pit. The orc seems eager to make small talk, and he asks you about the Immortal Knight. I heard he's gone missing. Any word from Sabek? Like everyone else, you've heard the rumors that the Immortal Knight disappeared during the Dragul invasion. You have to admit that there has been no good news on that front. The orc shakes his head. Too bad. I saw him slay a dragon, you know. Just north of... I'm way off screen here. I'm sorry. You guys need to let me know that. I saw him slay a dragon, you know, just north of Jolev in the Black Dunes. We kept the kobolds at bay, and he and Tarek Nowlin handled the rest. You nod politely and move to enter the Thieves Guild, but the orc stops you. Members only, I'm afraid. Use an item. Let's use that lead medallion. How about that? C78. You show the orc guard the lead medallion, and he looks impressed. Steal the medallion from a thief. That's the only way to become a member of the guild. Go on in. Each player return 1 stamina from your fatigue box to the supply C3. No stamina to get back. You enter the Thieves Guild headquarters and are met by a large orc woman who introduces herself as Gonk. No blood? She looks at you over suspiciously. You look more like King's Guard to me. They arrested my aunt 3 years ago for stealing a lousy apple, and yet they still haven't let her out. On her table, Gonk has... voice is going to kill me. On her table, Gonk has a rolled parchment with a wax seal showing the eye of the starlit door. And since ours is 1 or higher, we go to a C4. Gonk catches you looking at the parchment. She hands it to you and collects your guild token. Go ahead, open it. You break the wax seal and unroll the parchment, revealing a map to the secret entrance of a library. Tell them I said hello. Now, how about some training? Return card 78. Oh, God, that is going to give me a headache. Why am I doing that? I said I was not going to do voices. Really. 78. Goes back to the deck. And then we return card... Let's see. 78. Come on. Where's 78? 78's between 77 and 79. Nothing tricky there. And we take card 3. We record the keyword coin. All right. So first up, we got the library, which is going to be down here. Place 1 XP on it. We record the keyword coin. Smart idea putting the pencil right under the mic, huh? Shuffle the skill deck and reveal 2 cards. Place them face up next to the adventure map to create a market. While at location C, you may buy cards from this market for their price. If your king's favor is 1 or higher, the price of each card at this market is increased by 1 gold. If it's 0 or lower, the price of each card at this market is reduced by 1 gold. If you buy a card, add it to the player's hand. You may learn a skill from the Thieves Guild, rest, or move to another location. Alright, so we've got Search and Climb, both of which allow for flipping over 2 dice. However, neither of them are in a category that I really feel like I need. I've got blue already. It's going to be 5 gold P I'm going to wait. I need stuff that actually allows me to change the color of the dice. I don't so much need dice manipulation at this point. So I'm going to pass on both of those. And instead, let's go ahead and head down to the library. We don't pass through an encounter to do that. If there's no XP here, go to G1, otherwise take the XP. Down a dark passageway, you find a door painted with a familiar eye. When you knock, a small peephole opens, and a man's voice speaks. We are everywhere and cannot be seen. You are not sure what to say in return. The man behind the door notices your hesitation. Who are you, and how did you find out about us? Record the keyword library. If your starlit door is 1 or higher, each player adds 1 stamina to hit their strength attribute row before doing this next skill check. Persuasion 1. They welcome you in. Fail, they do not trust you. So Persuasion 1. Let's see. It's going to be red and purple. We may as well go all red and all purple. So I'm feeling we'll be able to rest right after this. Although we have weak, I can actually spare one of these. I'm going to spare one of these for charisma. Which means that goes back in there. And the reason is that we don't necessarily... We have one card that allows us to change the color of the die to red or purple. So it doesn't matter that that's a blue. And it's Persuasion 1, so we have 4 dice to work with. And we managed to really, really do very, very badly. Oh man, that is going to be tough. Because these all have to be really low. So Manipulate is going to be first. That's 1 card. That allows me to change this 6 to a 1, and so that takes care of that. That doesn't really do anything for me. I can use Pickpocket. You need 5 cards to do this. Let's be smart about this. So if I lower that blue by 1, I can then use Resolute to make that a 3. No. I need to flip this one somehow. I can use 1 to make this a 4. Resolute, I can go these 5, or these 3, but that's still not good. I'm going to go ahead and use the Grim Taker, which allows me to add a dice of any color. I'm going to add a purple. My 2 cards, that's a 4. I can flip a purple, I think. No, I can manipulate a purple with that, but I've already used it. Can I lower purple by 1? The answer is I can't. It's really insanely bad. Like, I have all the time to get really, really high die roll. And the problem is you can't add anything to these. So it's not like... it's not like I can add anything to a 4 to get it a 1. I mean, I could add a blue dice, flip both of them, and hope for the best. But then they're still not going to be the right dice color, so that's not going to make any difference either. I don't think there's any way I can do this. I can try adding gray matter and just see if I get a dice that's actually helpful. All right, that works. That got me the 3 at least. So I have 2 more dice to try to flip this over, which I don't think I can do. Because I can only flip, with 1 more card, I can flip this to 2. Lower that to a 1, but it's not going to be a red card at that point. I could treat Resolute to make this 4 a red, but then I don't have any way to get that down to a 1. This allows me to make any card a red, so as long as I can get it to a 1, I'm fine. So if I could do 6 cards, I'd be fine. If I could do, but I can't do 6 cards. The last thing I can try to do, just as a Hail Mary, I can pull in a blue, roll it, and if it ends up as a 1, I can convert it to red. But that is pretty much my last ditch effort here. Yeah, 6. That's not going to do it. All right, so I fail. Let's see. Fail. They do not trust you. The man behind the door looks you over, and thinks for a moment. Then the door swings open, and he leads you into a dim, candlelit library of ancient tomes. In the center of this room is a wooden table where several cloaked figures sit, pondering a map of Sabek. Near the map sits a gray drawstring sack. If you have either the Jade Gauntlet artifact card or the Gray Matter object card, you may reveal it to the starlit door. We're going to reveal the Gray Matter to the starlit door. Your discoveries impress the cultists who sheathed their weapons. An elderly dragonkin man removes his hood and approaches you. I see that we have misunderstood your intentions. Please come in. So we're going to actually wrap up the skill check first before we go any further. Did we remember to claim the 1 that we got? I think so. If I didn't, I don't think I deserved it. So those stay in spent until we actually can rest. In the library, cloaked figures surround you. You notice Maula, the Bastia woman, among them. You arrive at an important moment, says the Dragonkin. Soon we will restore our world to its proper place at the center of the Planiverse. To do so, we must possess all objects of power. We invite you to join us, but first you must perform a small initiation. The map of Sarek is spread out on their table with red markings all over the major sites. It's not clear exactly what the Starlit Door is planning, but it looks like it will not be pleasant for the city. Your duty as Kingsguard is certain. You must arrest these rebels before they can disrupt the peace of Sabek. Alright, so now what do we do? I believe this is the classic shit or get off the pot moment. We're going to agree to take on their task. Kind of like the idea of the Starlit Door, and I'm kind of digging on that. When you agree to perform their task of initiation, Maula smiles, as does the elderly Dragonkin man. I am Masik, he tells you. Your task is simple. Open this desk and bring what you find there to the Temple of Ulos at dawn. Masik points to a small Durgolium writing desk. Atop the desk is a quill, an empty inkwell, and what looks like a broken statue. It's a white marble neck mounted to a wooden base that is engraved with the name of Bertram Hugna, but Mr. Hugna is missing its head. There's no obvious way to open the desk, and it does not yield to force. You take the inkwell, thinking it might come in handy. Maula hands you this gray drawstring sack. Take this. It might be helpful if you have to deal with the vampire, she says. You open the sack and find that it is full of ashes. All right, so we've got a lot of stuff that's going on here as a result of this. We're going to move up one for Starlet's favor. We're grabbing a new discovery, which is probably going to be the ashes of the what's-his-face. And we're going to grab a bunch of titles. So we got an empty inkwell. And then we grab title cards 22, 27, and 28. I really thought these were only going to go for about an hour. Let's see. Masik's Esteem, Mala's Respect, and Starlet Hope. Right. Use an item, rest, move to another location. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to rest. We completed a spell check, even though it's unsuccessfully, so we can complete that back over. We can choose to rest if we want. We're not going to, actually. I think 3 damage is fine. I'm not going to lose an XP over that. That's going to go to 2, and that's fine otherwise. All of these come back, and I think we're good to go. We can now flip this back over to Unrest. Stupid. And we may now move to another location or use an item. We're going to go ahead and use the inkwell, or use the lantern, I think. You search the library with your lantern and find a biography of Bertram Hugna. He was a dwarven poet who's penned his verse not in ink, but in his own blood. Use another item, rest, or move to another location. Let's examine the inkwell. Looking more carefully at the empty inkwell by lantern light, you see that the dry substance within is not ink, but blood. And now let's move to another location. Let's move to the pit. First, we have an encounter. 3. We go back to the book. Getting hungry, looking for some food. If you have the title Friend of Gimlex, which I believe we do, we're going to have to start alphabetizing these. Friend of Gimlex. You discover a frog. Go to A35. At the bottom of a slippery slope of muck, you find Gimlex chiseling away at the forehead of a strange skull embedded in the ground. He seems surprised to see you. I didn't think you were the type to slum it in Undercity, he said, but you've come at a good time. Look at this. Gimlex's chisel breaks through the bone, and he pulls forth a wand topped with an enormous blue gemstone. A cursed object, to be sure, but cursed by our own plane and none other. Care to join me in testing it out? We'll touch the gem at the same time. Ready? Gimlex's eyes shines with anticipation as he stares at the jewel. I'm going to convince him that it's too dangerous. Those are my choices, is that trust Gimlex, touch the Grimstone, or convince him that it's too dangerous. And, dude, seriously, don't touch the strange blue knobs. 46. 46. You lie and tell Gimlex that the gemstone is more dangerous than he knows. You describe how it poisons your mind with false visions of other worlds, corrupting spirits and driving its own owner mad. You spin tales of the grim fates that befell its previous owner. Gimlex watches you skeptically. If your star is 1, if you have 1 or more Starlet favor, each player adds 1 stamina to their cha. And now you can do Deception. So first, and it's Deception 2. That's tricky. Okay. So we need purple and white, purple and blue. And then we need 1 white or black. So we're going to go ahead and take 1 each of these of that color. Wrong colors. Purple, blue, purple, blue. I don't know what that's doing there. And then I think we're just simply going to take 2 more dice and hope for that. Because we have something that allows us to do 4 of any color. So. Alright, so what do we got? We got the 5 automatically. 3 we've got. We need to get that down to a 2. We need to get that down to a 4. Okay, let's see what we can do here. That allows us to get down to a 1. I'm sorry, get down to a 4. So that is covered. We'll get an XP for that. Can flip the red, maybe. Sorry, folks. Just trying to figure out what to do here. I'd really like to not fail another one of these. Yeah, okay. So weak allows me to treat this as a purple. Manipulate allows me to make it a 2. We get an XP. And now for the 4, I think there's a number of things that we can do. But probably the easiest one that allows me to not use the bonus play is use the runic necklace to flip this over to a 1. Add this. Oh no, we're going to... I need to take that back for a moment because what we need is we actually need that to be a 4 of a specific color. So resolve, and then where's our 4? Enchant. Enchant in 4 allows us to pull a 4 out and then treat it as a 4 of any color. So there we go. All right. We've successfully succeeded in passing the skill check. Passed, he's convinced enough to pull away. So now we're going to pull the dice. We're going to try to do this properly. Pull the dice, remove our discards, set the rest token to rest, and remove the skill thing. Oh, and I think we were supposed to take this as well when we got to the pit. No, because we haven't actually gotten to the pit yet. I'm sorry. So 347. He's convinced enough to put it away. You tell a frightening tale of the wand's powers, and Gimlick seems impressed. Thanks for the warning. You seem to know a lot about arcane objects. We could use someone like you in our ranks. Gimlick offers you a few coins. Here, maybe spend it at the Thieves Guild. Training there is never wasted. He gives you a meaningful wink and bids you farewell. 1, 2, 3. Gain 3 gold. Rest and move to the next location on your path. So we are going to rest. So that gets flipped. We roll 1 dice. We'll just use 1 XP for that. 3. So those all go back, plus we're going to get 1 back for our int. Still got 2 in there. Our spent cards come back. That's more important. And now we can continue on to the pit. We can move that back up there. The pit is this book. E. If there's no XP at this location, E1, otherwise collect the XP. Acrid black smoke pours over you from the corridor ahead, choking your way forward. You find yourself at the bottom of a narrow, high shaft. In a stone-walled pit, a dwarf woman is prodding a noxious fire. You bring one to burn, she asks. If you have the title Secret Corpse, E4, otherwise E5. So I'm guessing had we decided to hide Lady Amelia's daughter, we would have the Secret Corpse. E5. Well, got one or not? The dwarf woman asks. When you look confused, she continues, we're clearing out the infected tonight. Kill them wherever you find them and bring them here. I'll burn them in the pit. In a dark corner of the shaft, you notice a pile of clothes and others that must have been stripped from the dead. Go ahead and look through them if you want, says the dwarf. I already took the gold. Record the keyword smoke. If your Dragool is 1 or higher, you can do something. I'm not going to say what. You can use an item or rest. We're going to go ahead and use an item, 81. take a good look around. You shine the light over the pile of clothes and other belongings. Not surprisingly, there is very little of value here. One item stands out, a carved head of white marble. It must belong to a statue somewhere. You decide to take it with you. Discovery card 87. Statue head. I know where that goes. All right. Let's see. We can now combine them too, both. By the lantern light, you see that the statue head is sooty from pyre smoke, so you clean it off, revealing a stiff, smug expression. It doesn't really seem to do much of anything else. 87 we can look at on its own, but we also do need to make sure that we're not doing too much of that, because now we've just used up a stamina from doing that. So I think what we're going to do is head back to the library. Yeah, the library. The Dragolium writing desk in the library is missing its inkwell and the marble head of Bertram Hugna. There are many books here that might be read by lantern light. We'll go ahead and give the statue back. That's 87, so we'll use that item. G87. The statue head of Bertram Hugna fits perfectly atop the partial bust on the Dragolium writing desk, giving the library an eerie sense of his presence. You notice the fresh quill and examine the empty inkwell you collected. You feel an otherworldly presence floating in the air around you. Was that your imagination, or did you just hear a voice whispering in your ear, "Help me, please," it said. Return 1 stamina from your fatigue to the supply. Use another item. We're going to go ahead and use 80. Let's use 56, 87 together. The statue head fits roughly into place on its pedestal, completing the bust of Bertram Hugna. You also place the empty inkwell on the Dragolium writing desk. The poet's workplace is assembled, but the quill that sits on the desk cannot do its work with no ink. You feel an otherworldly presence floating in the air around you, with a deep desire to write. You tuck the statue and empty inkwell back into your pack. Return 1 stamina from your fatigue box into the supply. Oh, and we were supposed to use, so that's, let's take 2 back. Let's take 2 back, because I keep forgetting to use the stamina for the statue head. Let's see. What do we want to do? I guess head up to the Ossuary. So we're passing through here. There's one more encounter that we haven't had yet, and I kind of feel like that's not a bad idea. First we have to go to Azima's Bones. We can rest or move to another location. So we'll move here and we'll do this last encounter. I have a feeling that we actually want to do all the encounters each time. From the tunnel ahead, you hear the sound of lute and drum. You turn the corner to find yourself a well-lit grotto, decorated with woven carpets, stuffed couches, and glass lanterns. A cohort of young stable nobles are gathered here, dressed in their finest clothes, dancing, drinking, and making music. The young Wrathborn noble, sporting a long mustache and fine dress, introduces himself to you as Crete. Crete gives you a strong handshake and a slap on the shoulder. "Come," they say, "join us. We sent out a friend to bring back the vampire's bite. Stay a while, and you can get bit too." These poor fools are trying to get infected, thinking it's fashionable. As King's Guard, you cannot allow the children of Sabak nobility to endanger the kingdom this way. Join them and attempt to persuade them to leave. Draw your weapons and force them to leave. We're going to persuade them, because I think because we've encountered the other one, we have a better shot of actually just getting them to just... No, it's too late. Too late. Get out. If you have any of Karina's Pyre, Lady Amelia's Sorrow, or Secret Corpse, go to Adventure 349. So yeah. You join the young nobles who are drinking, speak with each of them, getting an understanding of their interests, probing their misunderstandings of Empirism, telling them stories of the Dragul invasion, and attempting to persuade them that this infection is not nearly as pleasant as they seem to think. During your conversation, several of the nobles raise uncomfortable questions about their friend Karina, who was expected to return some time ago. Skill check, Charm 2. All right, Charm 2. We're going to need some purple. We're going to need some white and green, but we're just going to take the one white, one purple for now. Actually, we're going to take 2 white. I feel like the whites are the tough one for me to do, because we don't really have as much to manipulate there. And then we're going to get 3 more dice. All right, let's see how it goes. So the 1 we can do right away. Got a 6 here, a 4 here. That actually fits. There's nothing that we get as a result. We can flip that, and so that leaves us to figure out what to do with the rest of these. So let's first of all flip that white dice, because I think that that is one thing that I can do right from the start. That becomes a 2. There we go. I can now use wand to lower that to 5, and then treat it, sorry for that noise from the phone, as a blue, so that becomes that. And then I need a purple 3. And that would allow me to get anything, make any 3 purple. I think what I have to do is I have to do that to add a 4. I don't know. Let's add another purple dice. Five does not help. We've got 2 more dice to work with here. I'm noticing the magic stuff is not really helping me get anything. No, because I'm not going to be able to do that. I have to hope that this ends up a 3. I should have done that. I should have pulled a blue specifically, because I have a lot more flexibility on the blue. But we're going to try anyway. Yes! Alright, so we're going to do our bonus play item. And then any 3 that we have, we can make that any color we want. So that'll accomplish that, and we succeed. Jesus. Pardon my language. It's passed. They are persuaded to go home. 3-8. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to clean up the dice. Our discards go back here. We're going to move this away. And we're going to go to 3-8. And then this becomes rest. Your conversation proves effective. The young nobles, somewhat reluctantly, come to their senses and agree to go home. One of our friends is still out there in the tunnels looking for a bite, says Crete. Send her home too when you find her. Reveal title card 14. Rest and then move to the next location. Crete's Savior. All right. That's all the locations. Let's go to 3. I'm starting to get a little dizzy, and I think it's because I've been recording for almost an hour and a half. And I'm hungry. All right. If you have the keyword, coin, go to C2. The Thieves Guild is open to you. The elderly orc that guards its entrance nods to you. Inside Gonk welcomes you back. While at location C, you can buy cards from the market for their price. Learn a skill from the Thieves Guild. Rest, move to another location. All right, so we're going to move back to the Ossuary, maybe? Might be our next best bet. Lantern flickers over the irregular surface of the countless ancient bones. There are many dark corners to explore. We can try using an item here. We can try using 56 on its own. You remove the lid from the empty inkwell and blow across its top. It hoots like an owl, and the sound echoes eerily across the ossuary. Hoot, hoot. That's pretty funny. I can use 5681. You open your lantern and place the empty inkwell over its flame. For a moment, the ossuary is covered in strange red shadows projected by the stains on the sides of the inkwell. As you turn the inkwell, the shadows move like the dancing spirits of the dead. All right, so I think we have to keep going. We're going to go up to the Sepulcher. If you have any of the titles, Vampire's Executioner, Vampire's Prey, or Vampire's Thrall, yada yada, otherwise go to F1. You sneak into the dark corner of the ossuary that obscures the path to the Vampire's Sepulcher. Go to F4. You feel Lord Rothka's presence in your mind, sifting through your memories like a pair of hands searching your head for lice. I know you have the ashes, he says. Show them to me. Against your will, you find yourself retrieving the grey drawsting stack from your pack. While the vampire sees it, he draws near and takes it from your hand. He opens the bag and looks upon the ashes with reverence. Suddenly you find that you're in your control over your body once more. It seems that Lord Rodka's hypnotic powers dissipate when he is distracted. I want to thank you, he says. You have done me a great kindness, and I would like to return the favor. We're going to attack this guy. He's a vampire. F6. You drive at the vampire with your steel. Surprised by your attack, he bares his fangs, spreads his wings, and takes flight to strike you from above. Special combat. This following combat will redirect you to a new storybook entry after the first round. Make sure that you read the 3 possible outcomes once the first round is complete, and turn to that corresponding entry in the storybook. So, we're in combat. We've got Lord Rodka, 38. That is going to be rough. Did we remember to rest? Oh, we should have rested before, shouldn't we? 2 dice. I'm sorry, I'm just going to back up here and make sure that we're rested. 5. Then we can do 2 here, 2 here. 1 there. Sorry. Certainly have plenty of time to rest. Just didn't bother paying attention to it. Sorry about that. All right, so we are battling Lord Rothka. We need a bunch of white dice, strangely enough. So we're going to grab 2 of these. So we can grab some white dice. We're going to grab 1 more for the blue. And 1 more for the red. We're not messing around because we're going to need all the help we can get on this one. Let's see. Whew. Yeah, that's not looking good. So first thing that we're going to do is, I think we're going to add a blue. Okay, 3. We can use our wand to lower that. But can I flip these instead? Well, it's not going to make a difference if we flip them. So that's 2. And now this can become a 2. And that covers that, so we get an XP from there. The white I can manipulate by flipping the 3 to a 4. That's 3 cards. I can discard this using my class ability to make this a 6. And I was supposed to add 3 more XP from all these. 2 for this one, 1 for this one. I can use Grim Taker to add a white. But I'm worried that that is not going to go well. Do we have anything else that will allow me to add a white? Yeah, and I've got storybook, so as long as I'm 4, 5, or 6, I'm good. But I will have to use my bonus play, and I will not be able to do anything about that. 5, 4, okay. So I will use the spell book to make this a 5. I'll get 1 gold in the process. What's nice is that was 5 stamina that I just covered up there, so that would have been really, really bad. And then that's all 5 cards that I can use using the bonus play. Plus I've used my class ability, so yay. But I've still got 1 thing left, but I've only got 1 thing left, so that's a plus. We're going to lose 2 stamina for that because it's still available. I have to check to see if I'm supposed to actually cover up the... If I'm supposed to get the damage like when I cover it up, because that would actually change quite a bit that I've done so far. And I lose 1 XP. If that's the case, then I've played these last two things completely wrong. Ouch. So now we go to defeat at the end of the first round. Lord Rotka returns to a mist and escapes you, or neither victory nor defeat. Lord Rotka steps back, F12. Dodging your blows, Lord Rotka hisses and his body turns to mist. He coalesces into an even more terrifying visage, veiny muscles bulging from his bat-like frame. His claws scrape across the stone floor of the sepulcher as he approaches. Return 1 XP to the supply, add the gigantic modifier to Lord Rotka, and continue combat. Yay! 2 more dice to worry about. Alright, so we're going to take 4 dice. We're not going to be able to select anything specific. Actually, we can select that. Select a black one. Then 3 more. I'm going to hope for the best here. Yeah, because if I'm supposed to take that damage at the same time, I mean, I'm definitely dead at this point. Are you kidding me? All right, let's start making some stuff here happen. So 4 allows me, so first card is 4. Get the gold for that. And see, that doesn't seem possible to me. Like, if I take 5 stamina and 5 stamina, and like, that just doesn't seem right. I'm hopefully just misreading that. This allows me to change anything to a red. So what I will do is I will gather power, pull 1 dice, and make it a 5. And it turns out to be a red, so I don't have to worry about spending anything else. I've used 2 cards so far. And then that black one, I need to make a 2, but I don't have any way to make it a 2. I think the best I can do is actually just simply pull gray matter and hope for a black dice. That is frustrating. Yeah, that's all I can do. I got a 1 in 36 chance of this working. Well, now 1 in 6 chance. Damn it! So that was 1, 2, and then the gray matter is 3. And I can only use 1 more dice, and I have nothing else to flip. Damn it! Those all go away. We go to the next round. I really need to check that, because now I'm going to take 4 damage for this. And I'm going to lose 2 XP. This is a bad fight. Returns to miss... continue combat. So we still have 1 more round of combat. So 4 more dice. None of which are the right color. I need there to be a black dice in this, and there's 1 black dice. Awesome. And I don't think there's anything I can do. I don't think there's anything I can do with... I couldn't do anything before. Certainly can't do anything now. Yeah. I lose. Damn it. Oh. Lord Rutka returns to miss and escapes you. The vampire beats you back into a corner of the sepulchre and snarls, "Strong of will, but weak of flesh, you are not worthy of my bite." He takes the drawstring sack in hand and returns to miss. Before he seeps out of the room, you hear his mind and yours once more. "We will meet again, and I will remember your pitiful attempt on my life." The halfling man still stares at the wall, blood leaking from his bite wound on his neck. We lose 1 king's ground, strangely enough, because we didn't get the job done. 1 Dragul back. Reveal card 23. I may return to Zalak at any time or location A to end my adventure. And I think I've been pretty good about making sure that I continue to explore. I think this time around, I'm actually just going to end it because we are at 1 hour and 30 on the adventure. And I need to check that out about combat. Vampire's Prey. That's lovely. All right. Let's end the adventure. If you have either the title Vampire's Prey or Vampire's Thrall, you tell the commander that you were not able to slay the creature. Zalak says nothing in response. He opens the gate, turns his eyes away from you, and begins the march back to the surface. This is not a good sign. If he were simply angry, he would berate you. There's more than anger. Zalak is afraid. Turn to the end. You follow Zalak up the stairs and across the graveyard, making your way back to the barracks. Your march takes you along a ridge that looks out over the city. Sabek is a port city, and as dawn breaks, the bay turns from black to gold. All is still quiet in the capital. Only farmers and fishmongers preparing for the day's market are up at this time. During this quiet transition, you reflect on your night's adventures. Which titles did you earn? Somewhere in the world there is a powerful vampire who hopes to kill you. You have failed in your duty as Kingsguard. Still, something about the vampire makes you curious. He was willing to risk a great deal to obtain those ashes. The remains of the eldest vampire must contain some portion of his spirit. If so, Rutka might be able to resurrect his sire one day. There will be grief in this morning in Sabek. Zalak has delivered the body of Karina Duntum to the palace guard, who will carry her home with reverence. It might also be a sad day for you if too many questions are asked about how the young woman died and what your role was in her demise. Even so, you defend Sabek nobles from vampiric infection. Whatever the policies, you have done your duty and can take some comfort in that. You find the attitudes of the other young nobles disturbing. That they would flout danger and even actively seek out vampiric intention bothers you to the core. Nobles live a protected life here in Sabek, even with their proximity to Undercity. They did not see the horrors of war during the Dragul invasion, so they have the privilege of entertaining the romantic ideas about things that should cause them terror instead. You are grateful that you were able to send them home safely. You befriended several members of the Starlit Door, the secret organization that appeared to be plotting against the crown. They possess deep knowledge of Ulos and its relationship to the other planes. You expect that there is much you can learn from these new friends, but you also fear that your position within the King's Guard may be in jeopardy once your association with the Starlit Door becomes known. Conclusion. Your musings are suddenly interrupted when an explosion breaks the morning peace and a massive cloud of dust arrives from Taron's arena in the city below. Screams in the streets tell you that something has escaped the arena and is making its way through Sabek. It appears that the Starlit Door plot has already begun. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and clean up here. This was brutal. I said I wasn't going to count these as wins and losses. I think this was a loss, to say the least. C'est la vie. Thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow for the next adventure. Ciao, everybody, and bye.